What's up? My name is Technoba here for Troubleshoot, and in today's video, we're continuing the Minecraft server setup series. In today's video, I'll be covering how to set up and run a roguelike adventures and dungeons server. So first of all, let's go ahead and download the actual server. Open up your Twitch launcher and head across to the mods tab at the very top. Then Minecraft, browse Modpacks, then you'll either scroll down or use the search box in the top right, and we'll be looking for roguelike adventures and dungeons. When you find it, click on it, and you'll get taken to this page over here. If you don't already have the mod pack installed, simply click Install in the top right. Then click Download Server Pack, and your web browser will open and download the server pack. The server zip is about 500 megabytes, and once it's done downloading, I'll put it on my desktop for ease of access. So I'll simply wait for the game to download and install, and the server files to download as well. Then when all of your downloads are finished, open up the server zip that we just downloaded. Then I'll extract the folder onto an easy-to-access place like my desktop. After that's done, we can go ahead and delete the zip that we downloaded and open up the server folder. Inside of here, we have multiple files. We have launchserver.bat that we'll be using to start up the server, a EULA which we'll have to accept, as well as server.properties for customizing the server settings. But first, let's open up the README file. As you can see, open the EULA. And then over at step 2, we have information on server.properties saying do not change the level type, OTG, and level name biome bundle. So inside of the server.properties file over here, if you do decide to change any of these settings, make sure to leave level type and level name alone. Inside of here, you can set a custom server port, though in this video I won't be covering port forwarding. If you'd like other players to join from other networks around the world, then make sure to check the description down below for a link to a guide on port forwarding. Of course, in here you can also set an MOTD, a name for your server, etc, etc, but I'll be leaving it as blank. After doing that, we can run the server.bat and enjoy our game. So first of all, let's go ahead and open up the EULA.txt, and we'll change it from false to true, as we usually do, Ctrl-S to save it, and we can close out of it. Then we have launchserver.bat, and from here we can simply double-click on it. But of course, if you'd like to launch the server with some more RAM, simply make sure to right-click on this launchserver.bat and click Edit. Then run when prompted, and we'll have the settings over here. XMS is the starting amount of RAM for the server, and XMX is the maximum amount of RAM that the server can take. Currently, it starts with 2 GB of RAM and has a maximum of 4 GB of RAM. Of course, if you'd like to raise the maximum, you can simply replace 4096 with something like 8192, I think it is, for 8 GB of RAM. Or to make it a bit easier, you can get rid of the M at the end and simply add a capital G. 8G is the same as 8192M. 8192 megabytes is the same as 8 gigabytes. So of course you can change this maximum amount of RAM to whatever you have in your PC. Of course, you'll need to leave RAM for Windows and the game itself to function, as well as other programs. How exactly do you check that? Well, simply open up Task Manager and head across to the Performance tab. When in here, click on the Memory tab, and you'll see your current usage of RAM, as well as your maximum RAM in the top right. Currently, I'm using 12 gigs of 64, though you'll of course more than likely have 8 or 16 gigs of RAM in your PC. So how much RAM do we give the server? Well, the more that we give it, the better that it can perform. Though of course, we need RAM for Windows and other programs, then we need RAM for the actual server itself, RAM for the actual game itself, and then have a tiny bit of headroom so that other programs can be launched, we can record it with OBS, etc, etc. Because I have so much RAM available, I really don't need to worry about how much I'm giving the game. I'll go ahead and give the server a maximum of 16 gigs of RAM and a starting amount of RAM of, say, 4 gigabytes as such. Ctrl-S to save the file when you're done, and then we can close out of launchserver.bat and double-click on it to start up our server. Clicking Run, a black window will pop up and our world will go ahead and start generating. A bunch of new files and folders will be created in the server folder over here, and we'll simply wait for it to start. While the server is starting, I'll go ahead and start up the actual game itself so we can go ahead and join our server. Of course, if you'd like to start the game itself with a little bit more RAM than the default amount, we can simply head across to the Mods tab, Minecraft, click on the Mod Pack, and click the Settings wheel in the top right. Then we can head across to Profile Options, uncheck Use System Memory Settings, and we can give it a custom amount of RAM that it can take. I'll give it the maximum available, which for me is 12 gigabytes. I'll click OK, and play to launch up the game. Of course, if prompted, I'll log into the launcher, make sure Roguelike Adventures is selected over here, and click play to launch up the actual game itself. So I'll simply wait for both of these to start up, and then I'll show you how you can go ahead and join your own server. And there we go, once the game and server have started up, I'll head across to the multiplayer tab in game, add a server, and in the server address, I'll either enter localhost or 127.0.0.1 because the server that we're running is on the same PC that I'm playing the game on. After adding it, you'll see it in the list over here, and we can go ahead and join it. After loading into our server, we can go ahead and start playing the game as normal, as you'd expect, and if you have friends that can join, they can go ahead and join as well. Of course, if you'd like to give yourself creative mode and op, simply pause the game, head across to the console and type in OP space, followed by your username, in my case, Techno, and then I can do /game mode space creative as such, and I'll be set to creative mode where I can go ahead, fly around, spawn in whatever I want, and play the game creatively. Of course, if you're looking for a more vanilla experience, you can leave yourself without op, or you can give op to yourself, teleport around. Basically, the game works pretty much as you expect, with hopefully no issues. Of course, if you'd like players to join from other networks, you'll need to make sure that you're port forwarded, and they have access to your PC through your firewalls, etc, etc. Again, a guide for that will be linked in the description down below. Then the question comes, you're done playing, you've progressed quite a bit, what exactly do you need to do to close the game and save your server? Well, first of all, you can go ahead and disconnect if you'd like, then head across to the console over here. Inside of the console, I'll simply type in save-all to go ahead and save absolutely everything, the world, etc, etc. After it's been saved, we can simply go ahead and type in stop to gracefully bring the server to a close. Of course, before hitting enter, if you were to click the X in the top right over here, the server will probably close successfully and save everything, though I have had experiences where clicking this X over here breaks the server, and any progress since the last save is lost. Anyway, typing in save all and then stop to close the server gently is probably the best way to close it. After it's done, press any key to continue, or press a key, and we're done. Of course, if you'd like to launch up your server again, simply head across to the server folder and run launchserver.bat. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Hopefully you found this video useful. My name's been Techno here for Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao!